The Adventures of Wooley the Sheep. Wooley stood motionless. He was paralyzed by fear for what seemed like hours as those two terrifying wolf eyes stared at him through the bushes. His headphones were laying on the ground, and his beloved polka music was piercing the silence of the night. Wooley didn't know what was louder, the polka music playing in his headphones or the sound of his knees knocking together. In any case, Wooley was scared, really, really scared. He wandered away from the flock because he was too busy eating grass and listening to his headphones. He didn't hear the shepherd calling his name, and now he was far from the safety of the sheepfold and the protection of the shepherd. This wasn't the first time that Wooley failed to listen, nor was it the first time that he found himself in trouble because of it. But this was certainly the worst. This was the night that all of those previous warnings were meant to prevent. Wooley was in more danger now than ever before. A hungry wolf, crouched in the bushes, was about to make lamb chops out of Wooley.
Delicious.
Hopefully it won't take too long for me to die, Wooley thought. Maybe if his teeth are really sharp, I won't even feel the pain, he said to himself, as tears began to roll down Wooley's cheeks. Just then, the bushes began to shake, and Wooley heard the bloodthirsty creature inching closer to him. This is it! I'm about to be dinner, he thought. Bah, 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 Wooley cried out, which, being interpreted, means, help me! The bushes then began to rattle even more before separating to reveal the monstrous predator that had been stalking Wooley in the thick, dark night. Wooley closed his eyes because he was too afraid to see what was waiting for him in the darkness. With his eyes closed, Wooley waited to feel the razor-sharp teeth of a wolf sink deep into his skin. This is it! This is why the shepherd warned me over and over about listening closely, Wooley thought. But nothing happened. To his amazement, nothing happened. No biting with razor-sharp teeth, no howling or growling, no blood, no pain, no death. Wait! What's going on here? Wooley wondered as he slowly opened his eyes. Much to Wooley's surprise, there stood Melvin. Melvin was Farmer Smith's rooster. Now, Melvin was a noisy old crank of a rooster that didn't like his sleep interrupted, and he sure didn't mind imposing his bedtime on everyone else. Bark, 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 said Melvin, which in chicken language means, Wooley, what in the world are you doing out here in the dark this late at night? You're making so much racket with your polka music and knocking knees that a rooster can't get any sleep. Don't you know how early I have to get up in the morning? Just then, in a moment that Wooley will never forget, he heard the voice of his shepherd calling out his name in the night. Wooley! Wooley, where are you? As Wooley turned around, he saw his shepherd coming up over the hill in search of him. Wooley, there you are! I thought we lost you for good this time. Haven't I told you to take off those headphones and listen to my voice? You could have died out here, Wooley. Thank you, Melvin, for helping me find Wooley. You better get back to the barn, too. You have to start crowing in just a few hours. The shepherd bent down and picked Wooley up and slung him around his shoulders. Wooley's knees had knocked so much that he was too tired to walk all the way back to the sheepfold. With Melvin following close behind, the shepherd carried Wooley back to the fold. After tucking Melvin into his roost, the shepherd put Wooley safely in the sheepfold, and they both got a good night's rest. When the first rays of sun shone in the morning, Wooley was up and ready to go. He was rested, hungry, and thirsty, but he was also determined to never make that mistake again. Wooley had finally learned his lesson. It's very important to listen to the shepherd and to obey his voice. Boys and girls, this world has plenty of noise that can keep us from hearing Jesus, the Good Shepherd. But we must always remember that his voice is the most important sound of all. And by listening to the Good Shepherd and doing what he tells us to do, we know that we will always have the safety that he provides, even in a dark world filled with frightening circumstances. So boys and girls, always listen to Jesus and always do what he says. He will protect you and keep you safe in the fold.